London is a tight squeeze compared to the last kitchen. Whew. I didn't have stairs in my old apartment, so I've actually noticed the difference. And obviously that would explain why I'm so trim and toned and in the best shape of my life at the moment. So let me tell you a little bit about my Les Paul. It's a 98 standard, plain top honeyburst, and I bought it pre-owned. When I first got it, it was completely stock and it was in incredible condition. So the first modification I did was pop off the bridge pickup cover. Not only is it my favorite look for a Les Paul to have one uncovered and one covered, I believe it gives it a little bit more bite and bark when you're on the bridge pickup. The second thing I did was put the Graphtec ratio tuners on. And you might have noticed most recently I put on the gold Gibson top hat volume and tone controls. Now a couple of my friends have got 6000 jumbos on their Les Paul and I absolutely love the way they play. They almost feel scalloped, but you still get to keep that authentic look. This is gonna go in for a refret. I'm gonna lose the binding, so I'm gonna get more fret width, which will stop me slipping off the side of the fretboard. And I'm probably just gonna go back to stringing the tailpiece normally and having it flush to the body. So obviously I'm not gonna refret it, so what are we doing here? There have been some horrible noises coming from my bridge and saddle. So I got in touch with the awesome people at Graphtec again and asked them for some advice. They were absolutely awesome. They emailed me back straight away and they very kindly sent me out a ResoMax harmonic bridge system and the matching tailpiece. Now what's really cool about both of these is that they are also locking with little magnets. You probably can't see from over there, but I am going to bring the camera in closer when we change it over. But I've got my tailpiece on the other way around because how many times have you gone to restring a Les Paul and that has happened? That is not going to be an issue any longer. I also just want to quickly mention that I took my Les Paul in to see Andy Gibson at 60 Sounds, Denmark Street in London. Awesome, awesome Gibson store. Quite a lot of my friends work there and it's a really cool place to hang out. We were doing some REFRET pre-production, we'll call it. And Andy pointed out that in the late 90s, even though these are USA made Gibsons, they were getting their hardware made in China. And a lot of it is crap. So we looked across my saddle and realized that it had actually warped. So it no longer followed the radius of the fretboard. So you won't be able to see this, but you can trust me on this. When I look across, I can see it's actually bowed in the middle, which is not good. And that's just going to lead to so many different kinds of setup problems. So not only was I getting some horrible buzz noises, the whole thing had actually warped and it was time for a change anyway. So the actual saddles on this bridge are black rather than chrome, and they are permanently lubricated like me. It's going to give me increased harmonic content and massively reduce the chances of string breakage. It's not really an issue for me anyway, but can't hurt to have a guy in your corner, can it? So now I'm going to bring the camera in for a close-up and we can get these bad boys installed. So I think we'll start with the tailpiece because that should be fairly straightforward. Obviously, it doesn't go that way around usually. It goes that way around, but it slides down the body, which is not cool. Just worth noting that depending on where you live in the world, like in terms of measurements, imperial and metric, you want to make sure that you get in touch with Graphtec and get the right posts, because the threads can be different, if that makes sense to you. And I know for a fact that Epiphone and Gibson are different bushings in the body. So just do a little bit of research, send the guys an email if you've got any questions. They're the bridge and saddle experts, so get in touch with them, tell them what you want, they'll help you out. So first of all, we are going to very carefully remove the tailpiece. Now that you have removed, now that you've removed the tailpiece, you're going to unscrew your posts. So hopefully you can see that this bushing here is nice and clean and this one is covered in lacquer. Obviously that's not going to be a problem if you are having your tailpiece flush to the body, but if there's a chance you're going to bring it up, in my opinion that looks grim. So I'm going to cut around the inside of this bushing with a Stanley blade and try and get it off. To make my life a little bit easier, I'm going to take off bridge, lose these posts as well. Just gives me a little bit more room. there we go, that looks much better now. So this is the ResoMax Auto Lock tailpiece. If you look inside these little grooves where the posts go, you can see the little magnets. And if I drop that in, and that one, it ain't going anywhere, which is amazing. No little grub screws or anything like that, just two little magnets, no messing around. So they're getting a little bit tight now, and on my old posts I used a smaller flathead screwdriver than I should have done, and it started to kind of nick away. So I'm just going to use the top or the side of a plectrum because it's plastic, it's not going to damage it. And every guitarist has a plectrum in their back pocket, apart from Mark Knopfler, who doesn't know what one is. So now if we bring the tailpiece in using very little pressure, two magnets, one on each side, boom, flush to the body, feels great. So this is the ResoMax bridge and saddles, and you can see that we've got the black saddles there. It's such a subtle little difference with the black saddles, but I think it looks amazing. And obviously because I've got this pickup cover off here, I think it's going to match the bridge and saddles really well. So on the underside of the bridge we've got two little magnets on each side, which means when we pop the posts in, again with magnets, they lock in place, which is really cool. One thing that really bothers me on Gibsons is when you're trying to raise and lower the bridge, you have to try and use your finger and your thumb on this kind of serrated edge. And let's be honest, it doesn't always move with ease. And then you have to get out your pliers and try and give it a little twist. And if you're like me, you get annoyed and impatient and then you slip because you're not Tim the Toolman Taylor. And then the plier head takes a little bit of your paint off underneath the bridge. On the Graphtec one, they are much smaller and they don't have this serrated edge, but they do have a little flathead screwdriver slot in the top. So you can just take a tiny little tool and rotate it backwards and forwards to raise and lower the bridge. So you're not messing around with pliers or ripping the end of your thumb off trying to twist it round. So let's get these posts in. Obviously screws to the front and the slanted side of the saddle facing the tailpiece. Boom! We are in business, baby. Look at that. So that was an installation of the Graphtec ResoMax bridge and saddles and matching tailpiece stock bar. Painless, super easy, anyone can do it. Thanks to Graphtec for sending out the parts. I'm not going to string it up right now because it's going in for a refret. I'd feel sorry for the strings. They burst out their packet like, here we go. I'm going to get ripped, and then they get cut off, chucked in the bin. So she's off to get refretted with Jumbos by Andy Gibson at 60 Sounds on Denmark Street. He's going to give her a little setup, so I'm not even going to bother doing any of that. Get some slinkies on there and we are good to go. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Definitely go and check out Graphtec. They've really looked after me and they're super nice guys. And like I said, they make really cool, innovative products for your guitar. Worthwhile upgrades in my opinion. Definitely check them out. See you soon, guys. Peace.